What's going on, everybody? Good morning. First, I want to say thank you to Dave and Missy again, because they've given me an opportunity here, and I've been able to run with it. So thank you for everything that you guys do. Good morning, and thank you for having me. My name is Raul Moreno, and I'm the founder of Charlie Mike Military Apparel, Charlie Mike the Podcast, and Pearland Podcast Studio, formerly known as Charlie Mike Pearland Podcast Studio. I was born in Houston and raised right here in Pearland, Texas. After 9/11, I knew I was called to serve and enlist into the United States Army. I spent 10 years serving as a soldier with multiple deployments overseas to Iraq. The military taught me discipline, leadership, and how to keep pushing forward even when quitting felt easier. But some of my toughest battles happened here in the States and not overseas. After leaving the military, I struggled. I turned to alcohol, I turned to drugs, just to feel what I thought was normal. I guess normal again. I was dealing with severe depression, PTSD syndrome, and I was alone. At that time, I didn't fully understand what I was going through. I just felt lost, exhausted, emotionally, physically, and mentally. What changed my life wasn't one big oh shit moment. It was realizing that, excuse me. It was realizing that I wasn't the only one. There are thousands of veterans quietly fighting the same battles. Trying to adjust to the real world as it kept moving while we tried to take a knee and take a breath. One night during a particular dark time, when I felt like suicide might be the only way out, I came across an artist named Jeff, also known as Soldier Hard. He creates music and speaks openly about PTSD and life during and out of the military. I found one of his songs called Charlie Mike, which means continue the mission, and I played it on repeat for hours. The song helped me pull through, and it reminded me that I needed to keep going. And that's how Charlie Mike Military Apparel was born, not as a brand, but as a mission. Our mission is simple: to support the veterans, the first responders, and our community, and to make sure that no one ever feels alone. We've always said that if we can save even one veteran's life, one first responder's life, all the work that we put in was worth it. And we've been blessed as it's happened many times, more than I can count. And as the brand grew, I realized something else. Veterans don't just need support, they needed a voice. And that's where Charlie Mike, the podcast, came in. The podcast became a space for real conversations, unfiltered, with veterans, first responders, entrepreneurs, and people who have been through hardships and kept moving forward. No scripts, no filters, just real stories. Because storytelling saves lives. When someone hears their own struggle in someone else's story, it reminds them that they're not broken, that they're human. The vision eventually led to the creation of Pearland Podcast Studio, also known as Charlie Mike Pearland Podcast Studio. We decided to drop the Charlie Mike because it was confusing to a lot of people. So we just went with Pearland Podcast Studio. What started as a small idea grew into a professional space where people can share their stories, build their brands, and be heard. We've produced podcasts, social media content, webinars, voiceovers, but more importantly, we've created a place for meaningful conversations. It's not just a studio, it's a platform with a purpose. Behind the scenes, we still receive messages from veterans all over the world. Most of the time, they're not looking for advice, they just want to be heard. And when needed, we connect them with professional resources because listening opens the door, but real help saves lives. I'd be the first to admit I've made mistakes. I've fallen hard, but I've learned that purpose doesn't come from perfection. It comes from owning your story and using it to help others. Everything I do, from the apparel store to the podcast to the studio, comes back to one mission, and that's to continue the mission. I'm nervous as shit. I hope y'all don't know that. Yeah. We lose too many veterans every day to suicide. To us, it's not just a statistic, it's a call to action. So if you remember anything from my story, remember this: you're not alone, your story matters, and to continue the mission. Before I close, I want to share one thing. Before I left to the military, I used to say, I'm never going back to Pearland. I told myself repeatedly, I'm never going back to Pearland. But after I got out, all I wanted to do was go home. This city has seen every version of me. A kid running the streets to a man who lost his way, and with the help of the local police department and the connections I found through this community, I was able to turn my life around. I've grown alongside the city. I built my business here, and now I'm raising my family here. Pearland isn't just where I'm from, it's part of my story. And I'm blessed to be in this situation, guys. Again, I thank you for your time. And
Thank you. No, you did. Good. It's all good. So question. So we already have a hand up back there. So yeah, it's okay. Now are you scared?
Say we in this business, is there anyone in particular that know?
y'all probably don't know him, but there's a guy with a mustache. Yeah, you probably seen him at the pictures at the post office.
All right. So questions. Real questions. Okay.
So in starting the podcast, what type of I guess clients that have you had come through and have seen the most success with?
With the studio?
Yeah.
We got a bunch of people that come in. We've had people that come in that just open. Is it Pokemon? Is it Pokemon cards? And they just record themselves, and they got a following. We got a guy who comes in and talks about tennis shoes, and he has a following. We got this one kid who just comes in and just yells at the microphone, and he's got a following. Missy knows, he's loud. Yeah. We got our guys called Grab 'em in the Brisket. They have a big following where they just come in, drink beer, and talk about barbecue, and they're hilarious. If you get offended, you just don't listen, but they're hilarious. There's mine, Charlie Mike, the podcast, where we bring veterans, first responders, entrepreneur, nonprofit organizations, and I'm starting to bring in a couple of politicians because I got questions to ask. And there's quite a bit. I do a People of Spacious podcast, and that's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorite ones because we get to learn about the businesses that are here in Spacious, what their mission is, how they continue to grow, what brought them to this, and it's a blessing. Like I say, I'm blessed to be here in these buildings, in these walls.
What challenges, if anything, have you run into with your podcast studio?
Honestly, it just grows, just growth, because as you know, technology keeps changing every day. So trying to stay up with the times and learn all the different equipment as it comes in and all the different software updates. Sometimes it gets overwhelming, but you just got to keep doing it. Yeah.
What platform have you seen the most exposure from? Because I know you're on different platforms.
Yeah.
Which one do you feel is the one that's the most listened or views?
Honestly, it depends on the age age I'm looking to try to reach. If I'm looking for, let's say 35 and up, it's Facebook. If I'm trying to reach the lower, it's either the TikToks. If I'm going to Instagram, it kind of varies a little bit. YouTube, I'm still working real hard on trying to get it down, but I'm still working on YouTube. So, like I say, it just varies with age and who your audience is, who you're trying to reach. So that's definitely where I push them. We got a lot of people that go live, and they go live on all the platforms. So it's just X too. I'm tripping. Yeah.
So from all those that you named, which one, I guess not looking at age, which one has the largest viewership?
I'd say Facebook. Yeah, Facebook and Facebook. Or if it's not that, it's just podcast platforms in general, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So we get a lot of listeners just through listenership and not just on social media. So we could put a podcast out, and let's say it gets 100 views on social media, but it got 2,000 downloads on just listening. You know what I mean? So there's those numbers that sometimes people are like, oh, they don't see it, but that's where I'm looking at. Yeah.
So what services do you offer from like planning and development, recording, editing, marketing and promotion?
Yeah, well, we can be involved as much or as little as you want us to be. You can come in, sit down, get up and leave, and I give you a full product, or you can come in, sit down, I make sure everything looks good, sounds good, and I give you the raw footage, and you can take off and do what you want with it. But we can do complete edits, we make reels. We don't do social media because I hate doing my own social media, so I'm not gonna do anyone else's. Yeah, but I know some people that do. Yeah. So if you're looking at the website, Charlie Mike Military Apparel, I pulled it this month because we're gonna redo the site. Yeah, and if we got the Charlie Mike, the podcast out, and then Charlie Mike, Pearland Podcast Studio. Yep.
How do you monetize a podcast?
A lot of times you do it through sponsorships. That's how you would want to start off, is just to get some good sponsorships. Even if you're just promoting their stuff for free. Let's say I get involved with a beef jerky company, and I'm just spotlighting their beef jerky. Somebody else is going to be like, oh, all right, he's doing sponsorships. So that's when other sponsors will reach out to you, and that's how that works. Well, I think our first sponsorship was we were just having stuff in the background and telling people we were sponsored by them, and then we got sponsored by them. Yeah. So it worked. Yeah. Yeah.
How can a podcast help your brand?
Man, just visual, being there. If you're wearing clothes, you wear your clothes. People see it, talking about it. Even the social media clips that reels. It's out there everywhere. Y'all seen it, and just growth and brand building, and it helps people trust your brand also because they see it's actually something.
We did a podcast for a minute about politics and stuff, and it's more of a comment, but I don't know if you know this, but like the most pickup I ever got from any of those was, well, obviously when you say the word Trump, like, that's like a big flag, but you could also put it all on TikTok, and like those little 30-second shorts would get sometimes 20, 30,000 views. That was way more than like YouTube, like you said. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's weird. I don't know if it's just like they're scrolling through it. It just happens to come up in their algorithm. But I just found it interesting that like kids were interested in topics that I didn't think they cared about.
Yeah, it's good that they get information from someone like you and not believe something else that they saw. So when my kids come up to me and tell me, hey, did you know we're trying to make Mexico part of the United States? Like, what are you talking about? And I read it on a TikTok. Man, get out of here.
I was going to ask about your apparel, brand. So how can somebody find that? Or
It's Charlie Mike Military Apparel, but right now I got the website down. So we should be up in a couple of weeks, and it's all just basic. It's apparel that just, it feels good to wear, and it's got a message behind it. I think one of our most popular shirt was it's just a shirt that says it's okay not to be okay. And it was a simple message, and everybody was like, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Where'd you get that shirt? Like, oh, okay. And I'll tell you what, like some of the best feelings in the world is when you go to another state or something like that and you see somebody wearing your shirt. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, so it's awesome.
So where do you see, or where would you hope to see your podcast in, say, 5 years from now?
My personal podcast?
Yeah, or podcast, your personal podcast and the studio itself. Like, what type of impact do you see or hope to see within the next 5 years?
You know, when I started, I kind of put my personal podcast on a back burner because I was kind of trying to grow the studio. But as I've learned that with my podcast, I can help promote the studio, and that's what I'm seeing a lot of now. So I'm trying to be more consistent on my podcast. And with my podcast, I see, you know what, I feel like we're having an impact on where I want it to have an impact. And if it just maintains and stays what it's doing, then I'm happy because we're helping people. And that's all that the podcast started off as, and that's all I wanted to continue to be. And as far as the podcast studio, you know what, I'm having fun. I really am having fun listening to people's stories, listening to the craziness. Sometimes, it's hard to stay awake sometimes because there's some stories out there where, but I really don't see like a second location. I don't see any of that. I'm content. I'm happy. I love what I'm doing, and it just continues to grow on its own, which is, I don't know why people like me.
Well, I was gonna say, like, honestly, I would say honestly, man, you're a good person, man, and working with you, you can tell like your heart's in this, and so don't be surprised, like as you put your face out there, and as you put your heart into everything you're doing, don't be surprised in the growth that you're gonna see, because I can see it. Man.
I appreciate it. You know, probably like maybe a year and a half ago or something like that, maybe a little longer. I kind of lost the love for it, to be honest with you, because it was just I don't know. I felt like it was more work than, of course, it's more work than having fun. Yeah. So, and originally I did it because I was having fun learning meeting new people, learning different things, and I had Missy sent me a message, and we started talking, and she said, come check out the place. I came to check it out, and she's like, well, we want to build a studio here. And I was like, oh, cool. I said, well, I can help you build a studio. She's like, no, I don't want to do any of it. I said, what? She's like, we want you to bring your studio here. And I said, oh, let's do it. Yeah. And that's one of my biggest, proudest moments, and probably the best thing that I've done as far as the business aspect was coming to Spacious. I love it here. People help one another. It's all about businesses helping businesses. There's nobody like, oh, I'm competing with him, I'm competing with them. And people ask me like, hey, you're competing with other podcast studios? No, I'm not. I don't care. I compete with myself. I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday, and that's it. You come to me, don't. Yeah.
So I have a question. So, like a small business, if they come and want to do something, because my first thought is, oh, okay, like, I do podcasts, like nobody's gonna listen, like goes out there and like la la land, So how would you explain it to a small business that would be beneficial to them, like to do a podcast? Because while ago you said get their name out there. So how would that work? Because like I said, in my mind, I don't know who
Let's say you make a 30-minute podcast, and let's say you get a 10-minute reel, a 10-second reel out of that goes viral. You know how much exposure that is for the business that you're creating, or just whatever that message.
From the podcast, you pull out
Yes.
excerpts.
Yeah, and that's the best way. That's the best way that I've seen growth in business also. So people see that, or then again, when they see the reel, they're like, oh, I want to listen to the rest of this podcast. And then that's how it continues to grow. And then you being a podcast person, you want to continue to be a guest on other people's podcasts, where that takes their audience to be more interested in you. Yes.
But it's about reputation, right? Brand is reputation. People know, like, and trust you. How they do this? Podcasting is just another way of documenting everything. Sometimes people all that evergreen content and you put B-rolls behind it, it's a lot easier than actually going out and making TikTok dances. Right? Those will work, right? But this is you're talking about yourself because your story matters, and you're talking about your brand, like who you are. People rely on your reputation.
See, the thing about William, let me tell you too, when he started his podcast, it was coffee hour. What was it? Business coffee hour.
Yeah.
That's all. And I was like, I don't like it, man. He's like, what? I was like, I don't like the name. And he said it again, and I said, you need to add with William Gray Jr. And he's like, for real? I was like, yeah. He goes, but I'm nobody. But I see it in you. You'll be somebody, or you are somebody. You just think you're nobody. And to see the growth of his podcast is crazy. Yes.
I was just gonna ask, so what, as far as what's better than Reels or a podcast that you can just pull stuff from? I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
you know how I am with, I hate trying to make Reels and crap.
I mean,
I think the most genuine like way to do it is to do like a podcast, even if it's like a 30-minute podcast, and take reels from that. Don't just try to hit the reels because it comes across as not non-authentic. You know, if you're trying to get their attention, it's probably not going to work. But if you do it and you just stay true to you, and that's when it comes across.
Can I add something really quick? Sorry. It's about having both. So like the podcast
No, go.
is like the foundation, and you want to have that because you're going to educate people about your brand and what you do, which is essential for any business or personal brand. But then reels, you can't just rely on just that. You also want to have like the behind the scenes and the B-roll, like what was talking about, because you need both. You need to educate about your business, but you also want people to resonate and relate to you, and they want to see that you're human. And Aaron and I have done the podcast here, and so what we've noticed is
We're the ones where he falls asleep.
yeah.
That was one time.
We've been trying different things because we're like, man, we're kind of boring. Because this is our world. So then you'll get really good content and you'll be able to educate people about our brand. But that's not enough to carry you through social media. Social media is more than just the educational part. Yes, it's important. But you also want to entertain and you also want people to resonate with you. So
Be a person.
be a person, yeah. So I would say don't rely on just one. But podcasting is so important. I feel like it's a big tool for your marketing and your business because it lays down the foundation for you to be the expert and the authority in your space because you're talking about your brand in a space that is professional, and Raul does a great job at making it look really good. So.
Can I say something about you guys? So they recorded a podcast. It was Friday, and their son was the host. And oh yeah, let me just say he's got a lot of energy. All right, so they probably did probably about an hour-long podcast, and there was like it was all good, but there was this 10 seconds during the podcast where it just got real. He expressed his emotion about how he felt about his mother, and it was deep. You could see the tears in everybody's eyes, including mine. But like after it was done, I said, hey, if we don't pull nothing else from this hour long, that 10 seconds was worth this whole thing. You know, because it is what it is.
And we looked at it. There's really not much because he's all
I'll just continue to talk about this, but it's the authenticity
Yeah.
of being able to do a podcast. So if you can sit down for 30 minutes, he'll have good questions, good prompts to ask you. Like that's what the podcast is. And then this way, you don't have to worry about what am I creating today. It's, well, I already have an hour of content. I just have to schedule it. Right? So now you have your hour a week that you're coming to see Raul to record, and then your content comes from that. So that now you have one less thing to do, and then when they're like, hey, we should try something different, now you already have that foundation. What's easiest for you, right? So it's easier
I mean,
to talk
even
about.
Tanya knows I've struggled with for years.
So the thing about the podcast, with the podcast studio too, is you come in, you don't have to know anything. You don't have to worry about the cameras. You don't have to worry about the lighting. You don't have to worry about the sound. It's all taken care of. Yeah, so. Hey, and I'm almost 7 years sober and clean. So I just had to put that out there.
You had your hand up all ago. One last question, if you still had it.
So, sort of piggyback on your question and William's question. I'm brand new business. I'm a handyman service. I don't know anything about podcasting. I mean, I heard a lot of good stuff. Tell me how this would help me.
How podcasting would help you? Just bring awareness, just help you grow, help people figure out who you are, what you're doing. It's commercial. Okay. That's what it is.
What about content?
We can help you build it. Let's talk. Yeah.
His office is right over here.
Yeah. The studio and the office are both right there. Yes, sir.
Okay, last one. Just because he's the only presenter today, Sean. Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask Raul, where do you see like podcasting going next? I guess like I feel like things change, media changes every 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Do you in your head see where podcasting could go?
It just started going to Netflix, which is crazy. So there's podcasting on Netflix, and so that's amazing in itself. Well, he said he said he didn't pay to get the nomination. Yeah. So you got to pay like a $500 fee, and he's like, I know I'm the best. Son. Yeah.
Podcast is even more about brand now. Like your brand, like nobody wants to see Toyota, but everybody wants to see the person who's running Toyota.
Yeah.
People are going to buy because they know who you are. People want to buy from small businesses. They want to buy from small. They don't want to buy from large. How are they going to know who you are unless you have that content out there?
So basically, this is a small version of knowing who you are because you get to tell your story.
Oh, yeah.
So right here at 1 Million Cups, tell your story.
Yes.
And then go to Raul and tell your big story. So.
Or come to me, we can prepare you, and then you come over here.
There you go. So one last question for you. How can we as a community help you?
The community's helped me a lot already. I'll be honest with you. Just if you come see me.
I love it. Come see me. That's how you can help me. Just come see me. So wonderful. Well, thank you. Let's give him a big